Bernie supporters are not ignorant. They're saying, yo, whoa, 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 don't speak up. It's bad for the moment. Whoa, 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 whoa. He's the best we got. They're trying to suppress people from speaking out, trying to suppress knowledge from getting out there. What happened to truth to power? I mean, you got to, knowledge is power. We need to educate the people so the people can be powerful. Coming on 2020, as far as I'm concerned, he has not addressed any of the issues of 2016. And as a candidate, you're talking about, look, if he doesn't want to fight for himself, that's one thing. You're talking about a man that wanted to run for president of the United States, wanted to lead this country, wanted to lead the American people. But yet when you're talking about our democracy is not only being threatened, but trampled on, he says nothing. How can you run for a president in the first place, let alone people talking about a 2020 run? If he wants to run 2020, then make at least acknowledge what happened during 2016 and actually fight for the American people. Because he, as far as I'm concerned, he has no backbone. He threw us under the bus. There's many people that I know, and I'm not even saying about myself, that have sacrificed more than during the 2016, more than Bernie has. People say he was threatened. You know what? You know how many people that I know that were lead organizers at lower levels than Bernie that sacrificed and was willing to accept the consequences of what the DNC may bring if it was successful? I mean, just to give you an example, I had 2 or 3 dozen lawyers just because it was expected if we were successful, I was supposed to go to jail. If we were really successful, I was going to disappear. I mean, so when you talk about a person that's running for president of the United States, how the hell can he lead our people and not even fight for our democracy? And really, when it comes going forward, we need to focus our candidates on election reform in Citizens United. We need, let me see politicians go on based upon accountability. If I do not do X, Y, Z, as I said, then I will resign. Let's see some accountability out of our politicians. That's for, because we can't even get it from the best we got, Bernie. I mean, if we can't get accountability from Bernie, how can we expect it from any other politician?
We begged Bernie, said, Bernie, look, the people is here. We are delivering the people to you. He didn't want to do it. So what was we to do when we saw a platform that was almost identical to his and a platform that was speaking to us in the marginalized communities? And I think that's where folks, have to really take a look at this. This is the real deal. This is not a game. This is the highest level of our government we are engaging. And I already knew what you were going to do, just like I know what you're capable of doing. This is why I have stuck by you throughout everything that we have been through.
Bernie did something with the youth. He had more newly engaged voters than ever in U.S. history, millions. Now, he exposed the who, what, when, where, why of the corruption. Now, exposing this corruption, you have all these new minds engaged in the political process. They think like us, they vote like us. To me, it doesn't matter what party you're with or what gang you're with, as long as we're fighting on the same issues. Now you have all these individuals that are involved. You don't want them to become like the majority of Americans that don't vote, because that's exactly what's going to happen. They become involved in the political process and they see how corrupt it is. They're going to get this. They don't want nothing to do with it now. So that's why when Jill Stein offered a seat to Bernie and had a handout, it was a perfect transition to go, to denounce the Democratic Party and go with the Green Party. This way, it was for the youth, the millions that are now politically involved, to stay involved instead of getting discouraged with the process like so many do. So many people say that the elections are rigged, and you're right, they are. But the thing is if you don't vote, all you're doing is making it easier for them to rig. The more people that vote, the harder it is for them to cover up how rigged it is. So the goal in everything and behind the DNC, it wasn't with Bernie, because we knew months before that Bernie was going to endorse Hillary. We had meetings with high-ranking campaign officials. We knew it. That's the reason why Bernie would not come march with us in the streets. That's the reason why he wouldn't come to the rallies or the stage that we gave to him. Here's the permits, because he knew that we were going to go with Green. But the goal wasn't about Bernie. Again, it's not about Bernie. It's about the people. How do you keep these newly engaged voters involved in the political process? Because now we need them involved. We need them fighting on these same issues. And the Green Party was there to pick up the slack that Bernie, throwing us under the bus, throwing everybody under the bus. He also disenfranchised millions of newly engaged voters. They know that there was an election fraud, and Bernie did nothing about it. It's one thing for him to not to say anything, but when, one, you should be fighting for your supporters. Everybody that fought for you, you should be fighting for them. So It's one that you don't say anything during the 2016 elections. And I defended him for like 2 years afterwards. But when you start throwing around the Russia propaganda to excuse the elections, and not only that, to censor us from the tools that we use to get him on the platform and for him to have the voice he has now, social media platforms, he would not be where he is now if it wasn't for the youth taking advantage of social media platforms. And how dare him try to stop us from doing that for any other candidate into the future. No, why don't you come with open ears, open arms? Let's actually have a conversation. Let's have an educated debate and evolve as people.